tired, overwhelmed, overlooked, depressed, filled with anxiety. Do I even know who I am anymore? Back to my channel, and today I want to talk to you about my struggles with being a stay-at-home mom. I have 3 children, 7, 10, and 13. I've been a stay-at-home mom for a majority of all of their lives. You know, a lot of times people see stay-at-home moms and they automatically think that they have it all together. They're Wonder Woman, their house is always clean, they cook all day long, they pick up after their kids all day, and wash, rinse, repeat for every day. My heart immediately always goes out to women who are stay-at-home moms for the little people, and not taken away from the stay-at-home moms who have children that are older, but I want to talk to the ones that have the little babies that are toddlers, you know, that are still in diapers, or that has one in diapers and one that's potty training, or has 2 in diapers and one that's potty training and one that's tearing up the house. I know you probably all have seen Princess Meghan and how emotional she was when this reporter just took the time and simply asked, "Are you okay?" And that really struck me deep. Sometimes being a mom for that matter, no matter if you stay at home, you're working from home, you work part-time from home, or you're a full-time mom, and the fact that you're a mom, a lot of times people expect that you're doing it well, that you're handling everything well, and that you're fine. And some moms are doing well, they're kicking butt. And those are the moms that I'm just like, you go. Other moms that are not doing well, they're not momming well, and no one is asking them if they need a favor. No one is asking them, hey, do you want me to come in and clean your house? And I think it's because we always just think we're super moms, we're superwoman, and you know, I can do anything. And a lot of times people will not ask, but I know that sometimes we do need help. I want to tell you a quick little story. My youngest son is 7 and he's in 2nd grade. And when he was about going on almost about to turn 2, I was shuffling through life. This was about January 2015. And one of my cousins, who is like my sister, we both have very busy lives, but I can always guarantee that if I need her, she will drop everything for me. And if she needs me, I drop everything for her. And she called me and she just was checking in, saying, you know, we haven't talked. And so I gave her the, everything's fine. Yeah, the kids are just getting so big, and you know, the house is cool and all these things. So I told her everything else about everybody else. And then she asked me, but how are you? And I'm like, oh, you know, I'm good. I'm fine. And I immediately went into, you know, the kids are good, so I'm good, or something along those lines. And it's like, she was just like, no, how are you? It took me a few minutes, and then I realized I am not okay. I am not okay. And I broke down and I cried. And that cry was so hard. You know, the cry where you like can't get the words out? I was blubbering pretty much. And I remember feeling like I'm gonna get through this because I'm letting this out. And I think a lot of times we don't let things out. We just store them in this little jar labeled Secret Life, and we store it and we put it on the shelf, and we're just like, I'm not gonna open that because we don't want to deal with it. But being a stay-at-home mom, you have to deal with those emotions that you're bottling up because you have so many other things that you're dealing with. And so when my cousin asked me, how are you doing? And when I started to process and started to think about, wait a minute, I don't even know who I am anymore. I know that I'm a mom of 3. I know that I'm a wife. I know that, at that time, I wasn't working. So all I knew was my home and my children and my husband. But she was asking me, Tenia, how are you? And I couldn't even say how I was because I was so out of touch with myself. So once I started getting through, I'm not doing well. I don't know who I am outside of my family. I don't remember my passions. I don't do any of my hobbies. I don't know why I feel this way. It was easier for me to understand how I got here. And that is because I was putting everyone else first. My husband, my kids, things outside of the house. People were asking me to do things and I always said yes. Because I never wanted to let anybody down. But the person that I was letting down was myself. I was letting Tenia down. Are you letting yourself down today? Like when you think about it, take a moment to think about it. Do you know who you are outside of your children? Outside of being called mom? Outside of being Mrs.? Do you know who you are? 5 to 6 years ago, I was completely hands-on and I was doing nothing else for myself. And I was drowning and I didn't even really realize it because I was masking everything. I was putting responsibility on top of responsibility on top of responsibility. But can I just tell you that I am so glad that my cousin picked up on something not really being right. And instead of me getting mad, I'm glad that I was mature enough in that moment and didn't become petty and, fight back with the, I'm good. Why are you asking me how I'm doing? No, in that moment, I took the time to stop yapping and stop being fake and said, I'm not doing good. And at that moment, I began to change. Now, I started implementing things for myself. I started practicing self-care. Ooh, self-care, oh my gosh, this is so bad. No, self-care is such a priority. And I think that people have tainted what that means. Self-care is I'm taking the time to put myself on the to-do list for the day. Self-care does not look the same for everybody. My self-care is not going to get my nails done all the time, even though I like to, but that's not my idea of self-care. If that's your idea, boom, you have identified that, put that down on your list. My self-care is doing something that makes me feel like myself again, doing something that reminds me of who God created me to be. Now, God's design for me, before I even knew, looks how it looks now. A wife of almost 15 years, 3 really awesome kids, but also, it also looks like I'm a writer, I'm a singer, I'm a songwriter. Those are the things that are also a part of who God has created me to be. And those are the things that you need to remember. Not just somebody's mother, you're not just someone's wife. You are also all of those really cool talents and giftings that God has given you. And in this season of mothering, especially if you're mothering little children, don't lose sight of that. It may feel like all you do is be mom, but start taking moments every day and do something that God has given you specifically the passion for. So I encourage you today, go back, listen to this again, and just remember, in this season of mothering, you are important. You are enough. Your work right now has a long-lasting effect on right now and then the years down the line. When my children were little, I couldn't see how me being at home was going to impact them. I believed in the promise that God had told me about mothering, but I didn't quite see it. I did not believe it, but I just didn't see it. And now that my children are a little bit older, I see their character developing, and I see all the things that I was teaching them when they were little. And now that they're older, I sit and have conversations with them. And I'm like, wow, these little people are the same little people that were in my belly, who I was talking to in my belly, and who I was holding, and who I was breastfeeding, and who I was helping to learn how to walk and talk and do all these things. They're now older. And so it goes on and it goes on and it goes on. Being a mother has a long-lasting effect, but you want that effect to be a good one. So remember to take the time, even while your children are little. And it could be 15 minutes every day at whatever time. I'm not gonna say, oh, when the baby naps, you do this, because I know when that baby naps, you just wanna sit down. Or you may be like, okay, the baby naps and I'm gonna clean up. So whenever you have a moment, take some time every day while you are mothering to work on those passions and those giftings and those callings that God has placed deep inside of you, because they're specifically and uniquely created for you. I pray that this has encouraged at least one person, but I want to talk to you guys. I'm very active on the socials, so if you have any questions for me, again, my children are 7, 10, and 13. I have 2 boys and 1 daughter who's right in the middle, and they do all kinds of activities. I am here to talk to you. I would love to help you. Drop me some comments, whatever you want to talk about. If you need some encouragement, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and share. Remember, with God, all things are possible. Not some, not a few. All things are possible. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, bye.